Okay, let's introduce the Neapolitan chord by looking first at one of its most famous examples. So you know this piece before, or you've heard this piece before probably. This is Beethoven Moonlight Sonata, the first 4.5 bars. Okay, so not too much. I'm not going to make you listen to the whole hour-long thing. So what do we have here? Let's just quick take a look at what's here. We have a key signature indicating E major or C sharp minor. If you know how this song sounds and we look at this big C sharp right here, you're probably thinking C sharp minor, and you would be right. C sharp minor is really where we're at. Grave here, or grave, this is a tempo indication. This means really slow, like grave, dead slow. I don't think that's really how it translates, but really slow. Okay, so we see a whole bunch of arpeggios in the right hand. Things getting a little weird right in this bar. We got a B sharp. That's a little fishy. Some accidentals, and then we end right there. So let's just hear this little excerpt. Let's try to get it all on one page here. Here we go. All right, here we go. All right, and then that's where the melody comes in. So somewhere in here is one of these goofy Neapolitan chords. So let's do an analysis. Let's get through the first couple things here, and then we'll jump over to a new video once we get into the gnarly stuff. Because the first couple things are quite simple, actually, right? So let's take a look down here. Okay, so we are clearly in C sharp minor. Okay, so let's just do that. And then let's say, what is our first chord? Probably a big ol' 1. Okay, we have C sharp here. What are going to be the notes of C sharp minor? C sharp, E, and G sharp. So we have G sharp, C sharp, and E right there. So we're just spelling a good old C sharp minor triad over and over. Okay, so now what do we have here? We have C sharp, E, G sharp. We still have the C sharp minor chord, but we've added a B to it. So it's still kind of a 1, but it's got a B. So what is B in the key of C sharp minor? It's what scale degree is it? It's the 7th, right? And we're in a minor key, so it's that flat 7th. Or I shouldn't say it's a flat 7th. It's a natural 7th in this case, in this key, but it's not a leading tone, right? It's not a half step away. That would be a B sharp, which, remember, we're going to see a B sharp up here. That's a good clue as to what that's doing there. But we can call this a 1/7 though. So this really kind of is a 1/7, but let's call it more accurately what it is, which is a 1/4/2 chord. So that's our inversion. So meaning that if we just wrote this chord out, let's go out here. Say, what chord is this? It would be, let's just write it out in kind of a root position. So B, C sharp, E, G sharp. That's what the chord is. So we would call it a 4/2 because there's our 2, there's our 4. Technically it's a 6-4-2, but we leave the 6 off, remember. So it's a 7th chord. It's a 1-7 chord, but let's call it a 1-4-2 chord because intervals or inversions are going to get important. Okay, so now let's go on to the next chord. So what do we have here? We have A, C sharp, and E. Without looking at the bass note, just looking at these 3, can we tell anything about what that is? A, C, E, right? A, C sharp, E. That's an A major triad. A, C sharp, and E. This is also an A. So pretty solidly, these 2 beats are A, C sharp, and E. So an A major. So in the key of C sharp minor, what is that? Is that something in this key? It is. Actually, it's nothing very weird at all. It's our 6. Okay? Nothing strange there. So 1 to 1-7 to 6. A little strange to go from a 7th chord to I mean, normally if we saw a 1-7, we would kind of assume it's a secondary dominant. But remember, we're in a minor key here. So this is a minor 7th chord, not a dominant 7th chord. So it doesn't have that same tendency to resolve that the dominant 7th does. Okay, now we get to this guy. So what do we have here? We have A, D, natural, and F sharp. So if we put these into a chord, we have D, F sharp, A, makes a D major chord. That works. That's a chord, D major. We have an F sharp in the bass, so that still supports our D major chord. So let's just write D major. Because what is D major in the key of C sharp minor? Nothing. It doesn't exist. Because if we remember the diatonic chord progression in minor, we have minor, major, major. So the second chord is major, but it's built on D sharp, right? This is just a half step away. So can we call this flat 2? Does that make any sense? It's a flat 2 chord. That's what it is, right? It's a 2 chord built on the flatted root. So is there another thing we could call this? Kinda. I don't know why my text is glitching out that way, but there is another thing we can call this. We can call it a Neapolitan chord. We don't really put the exclamation point in there. But, okay, so let's go to a new video and let's analyze this as our first big Neapolitan chord.